He gon' sell some dope with me. Hey, what's up? What's the word?
Hello, this is Corli Jay with Hip Hop News. I'm here with the executive producers of the Moment of Truth docuseries that looks at the murder of James Jordan. How you guys doing today?
Hi, Corli.
Great.
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Can you guys please briefly introduce yourselves and your role on the film?
Sure. My name is Matthew Perniciaro. I'm the co-director and executive producer of Moment of Truth.
Hi, I'm Shelly Leslie, and I'm the executive producer of Moment of Truth.
Awesome. So how long did you guys work on this project and how did you get involved?
Well, the overall process was just about 3 years of work. You know, I think the earliest conversations about this project started about 3 years ago. And the filmmaking team, including myself and Shelly, we're all from North Carolina. We all grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina. And this case was very heavily reported on in Raleigh, most notably by WRAL and Capital Broadcasting, who's our partner in the series, and had an immense archive of footage that people haven't seen in over 25 years since it originally aired, and most people haven't seen, period, because it only aired in North Carolina on the nightly news. So, you know, we had a deep connection to this story. You know, I was 13 years old when this crime took place, and it's one of those moments that sticks with you at a young age. And because of that depth of reporting locally, when the opportunity to get involved and the conversation started amongst all of us, realizing this deep archive of footage existed to create something larger about this story that had never been done before, it was something that we all felt really passionate about being a part of.
Right. So did you guys get any feedback from the family on the project?
We had reached out to the Jordan family through a spokesperson very early in the process to request interviews. They respectfully declined, and in turn, we've respected those wishes to not communicate with them about the project.
What was the most difficult part about filming this series for the both of you?
I think for me, the most difficult part of creating this series was the constant reminder that you're looking at aspects of our society and corruption in law enforcement and systemic racism in the criminal justice system. And this took place 28 years ago.
Right.
And we're still seeing those exact same issues as pervasive today as they were 28 years ago. And it's a very sad reminder of how much progress we still need to make as a society. And that was it was very difficult many times to constantly just be reminded of that. And I hope audiences do take those elements away from this, watching this series, that, you know, this contributes to a larger conversation and issues that we are still very much dealing with today.
Shelly, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think it really sticks with me, the justice issues and those larger themes, and how much work we have to do as a society. I think Matthew captured it well there. And if you haven't ever experienced that as a person or been through that with your family in the criminal justice system, it's very easy to be removed from that and say, oh yeah, I see that happening over there, but it's not you personally. And I think living this series for the last 3 years, it gave me a much more personal view of what those issues are. And in a case like this one, where it's very well documented and we have all of this archival and we can go back and actually take it apart and look at it piece by piece, how many of these cases are there that are not documented in this way? And the trial happens and people go to prison and it's over and people forget. And, you know, it's a good reminder that, you know, how many of these cases are there out there?
Right.
Where there are very real questions about what happened.
Do you guys think that this could have played out differently if race had not been a major part?
Yes, I think race played a substantial role in this case. I think there were ulterior motives on behalf of law enforcement that played a role in this case. I think, you know, we talk about Operation Tarnished Badge, where the corruption in Robeson County, which is where this crime took place, and, you know, an area that we delve into the history of in great detail in telling this story. When you look at those elements of it and you look at, you know, the racial injustice in the county at that, specifically at that period of time, you see how race played a substantial role. And I think had this crime taken place in even a different part of the state, things might have played out very differently.
Oh wow. That's crazy to hear. But just like looking at the whole thing and like looking at Daniel's alibis, I just want to know like how could that not be considered? Do you guys think that it's because of the need to hurry and convict somebody? And like how could we fix this problem in America? I know it's like a huge question, but like is that a big problem that you see like when they try to hurry and convict somebody?
Yes, I think there was a lot of confusion around the investigation of this case. James Jordan's car was found in Cumberland County, North Carolina. His body was found in South Carolina, in Marlborough County, South Carolina. It was determined through evidence that the crime itself, the murder itself, took place in Robeson County, North Carolina. So you had 3 different county level law enforcement agencies and 2 state law enforcement agencies all having to collaborate on this crime. And this is in 1993. So I think one of the things that we all talk about and audiences have to remember when they watch this series is we didn't have the degree of connectivity that we have with one another now. It was, so we didn't have email was in its early days. We didn't have cell phones that gave us text messages. And, the fact that they coordinated on this case so quickly is and got to that information. We have footage where law enforcement agencies are saying there was no blood found in the car within the first week or first couple of days of the car being found. Yet when the evidence is presented at trial, they are stating that blood is found in the car. So there's a lot of information in this case that was inaccurate. And I think, as Shelly said, this happens in many, many cases.
Right.
And because of the high profile nature of this case, it was documented very well. And we're able to look at all that evidence in a way that allows us to tell it in great detail. But most cases where these things take place, there isn't this level of documentation. So we want this crime and the investigation and the trial to almost act as a gateway to that larger story. Because if we don't tell these stories, then we can't correct our system. And this is a story that has been untold in its full, in its full detail up until now.
Yeah, I like to think of it that way. Like having projects like this, series like this, is a process in getting things corrected. I like that. So Daniel was denied retrial twice, even though Larry admitted that he was the one that did the crime. So why didn't Robeson County? Why wasn't they interested in retrying this?
I don't think we can speak to why the courts have not chosen to hear this case. I think there's that's one of the questions that we ask in this series is, when there is question of fact as it relates to evidence, when there's question of fact as it relates to, ineffective assistance of counsel during a trial, our legal system calls for evidentiary hearings where these facts are then re-examined. In this case, they have not been granted the ability to have that trial. It's not, or that hearing, I should say. It's not a trial per se, it's a hearing at this stage. But, we don't know why this state has not chosen to have the hearing or grant the hearing. And I think it's what audiences should be aware of is, it's not that they're reviewing this new evidence and these new facts and saying, we've reviewed this and we don't agree with it, Daniel should stay in jail. They're not even giving the hearing to review the evidence.
Right.
And that is something that the state has to answer for. And I think where we end up, it's not our role as filmmakers to pass judgment on someone's guilt or innocence. That's really what our court system is designed for and the role that they should serve. But we do believe that there is enough question of fact that a hearing should take place because this evidence needs to be looked at again.
Completely agree. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Matt and Shelly, so much for being here with me today. Moment of Truth is streaming exclusively on IMDb TV. This has been Corli Jay for Hip Hop News. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you, Carly.
Hey, what's up? What's the word?